Good day. I'm planting out the red curry, the Uchiki Kuri, which is an acorn squash, and they've done really well in these modules. I think you can see that's about, it's one of the larger ones, I guess. It's about maybe a foot and a half long. Really good root system. Hopefully you can see that, and I'm hoping that they're going to do well. I've decided to put them amidst our broad beans. These are our modular sown courgettes, which are again about a foot high from base to leaf top at the moment, and as you can most probably see, there's quite a few flowers forming on these. I have decided that these are going to go into the front bed that I was working on a few weeks ago, that has been fallow for many a year underneath a membrane. So I put down some mounds of compost on top of that, which I'm just going to fork shallowly into the soil before I plant these in. Let's just lift this one out actually. Oh, sorry. See what the roots are like. Yeah, the roots, you can see, are pretty good. Time for these to go in. Hopefully you can see there 6 mounds of compost, just maybe 3 handfuls, well 6 handfuls, 3 double handfuls in each pile. And yeah, I'm just going to fork it lightly into the soil and then plant 6 of these up. They are pretty close to the cardoon, which I think has got some snails and slugs around it, but we did treat them with that slug defense, the nematodes, a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully there's enough natural nematodes in the soil to not have these munched, though I do have spares. These nettles I left to grow far too much last year, and this year with planting here I wanted to cut these back so that any slugs and snails are more in that area than coming over this pathway. So yeah, I have done that, and then if I come over here you will get my shadow. Maybe we can just look over. You can see I've cut back there as well. And then everything went into my nettle tea bin, and it's now behind the shed up there. So yeah, pleased to have reduced the amount of nettles this year, made nettle tea, yet still left nettles to grow for those beneficial insects that love nettles. Yay! With the remaining courgettes and curry, I've put them into one modular tray and I've left a gap, and obviously they do have labels. There's the curry label there and the courgette label there. So these are courgettes, those 4 are curry. And yeah, I will most probably, I may pot these on. I think it would be sensible to do that sometime this week. Oh look, got potato coming there. Oh yay. And then spring onions here, which will be going in soon. And these as well. I've just given these a quick water, and those beetroot. They really do want to go in the ground, and I think they'll be going in tomorrow. What I do want though is I want the compost in here dry enough that when I lift it out, it doesn't all fall apart. So I am letting them dry out a little bit. Oh, look at the nigella. You can see the blue coming on the nigella now. Yay! Oh, a garlic. Look at that. Garlic pulled out of the ground, and a garlic with white rot. I was saying about white rot when I harvested last week. Well, actually maybe it's time that I harvest all of these. Yeah, that'll do for another day though. Maybe tomorrow. There was chat about Richard coming down at some point, wasn't there? Anyway, gonna leave it there for today in this first segment of A Week at the Plot. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. It's Wednesday afternoon, and because I saw one of the garlic had been scrubbed out, I assume by a fox yesterday, and it had white rot on it, I decided to get our garlic harvested. And I have to say, I'm really pleased with the harvest that we do have. I mean, some of these bulbs are really decent sizes, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have white rot on them. And I'll have a look at those because I might be able to peel them, then rescue the insides and use them over the next couple of days. So we do use a lot of garlic. But yeah, look, I'm really pleased with the size of these. And what I'm going to do now is, oh look, that one I just picked out did have a scape on it. Interesting. I'm going to take that home and that will be in a salad this evening. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave sort of about 10 inches to a foot of the stalk on, and just cut it off up here at about a foot, and then let them dry in the poly. That's our garlic harvest 2025. Some real little tiddlers down here. These are sort of bigger. In here, these are bigger. But yeah, happy, very happy with the size of that harvest. Very little rust. There is some rust beginning there. Not sure if you can see that. Doesn't look to be any allium leaf miner on any of them, which would be a bonus. But yeah, really happy with that. And these are the 6 that I've trimmed back that I'll take home, peel them fully, and then have a look at the inside. And if I decide I'm going to use them, then they'll be used up within the next couple of days. It is very, very hot, very hot. And the reason that I've cut these back, sometimes I don't cut them back, but the reason I've cut them back and left a 10-inch, 12-inch neck here is because even though I'll be using these up within, I would have thought about, how many? There's about 50 there. So if I use 4 a week, 50, 10. So these will be used up within about 3-4 months. I do want them to store as best they can. So what we want is we want this around here to seal off, around the neck to seal off. So I've left a good bit of stem there to dry back and seal off the neck. And once these have dried off quite a bit, I'll trim the roots off, but not today. Not today. There's another job I want to get done today. These beetroot and these spring onions, I want them to go in today. The beetroot, I think, are going to go with our brassicas along the edge. And in fact, these might as well. Let me just have a quick look. I'm going to put the beetroot along the edge here and a few here as well. Trying to use that space because these kohlrabi here and the other brassicas that are small, they will be quite a few months off getting big and overshadowing the beetroot. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Maybe it's not sensible, maybe it is, I'm not sure. I want to do some direct sowing of beetroot in another bed, so yeah, I'm going to put them in here and let's see how I get on. What I'll be doing is exactly the same as I did yesterday with the Uchiki Kuri squash and the courgettes. I'll be digging a hole, putting the module down, leaving the level of the soil at the same level as it is in the module, and then firming them in. So we'll have a look at that shortly. I just thought I'd show you the beetroot modules before they go in. You can see there's a pretty good root system. That one's a bit looser on each of them. This one's only got one, so it's very loose. Yeah, allowing them to dry out has really helped. But some of them, like this one, and this one, are a little bit dry, and that one in the corner as well. So they'll need a really, really good water when they go in. Now I'm going to dig a hole for each of these. How many holes? 4, 8, 12, 15. Yeah, we can easily do that in that bed. And here we have the spring onions. Some have fallen apart, the module, that's okay. Others have stayed together quite decently. There's obviously fewer plants in these, so there's fewer roots to hold the ball together, but I think letting the modules dry out a little bit is going to help transplant these. In fact, I'm absolutely sure of it. That's the beetroot planted out and given the water in the brassica bed, and in this bed between the quince of our neighbour and the soft fruit bed is where we put the spring onions. Spring onions, yeah, not something I've regularly grown, and I do rather like them, and I've just sown them in modules and transplanted them. But I think I might look up in one of Dad's old books about how they were done in the sort of 70s, because I think they were direct sown, and then I might direct sow some more over this side. I must say I did think they were pretty quick growers, but they're not. They're relatively slow to harvest, I think. Anyway, I'm going to have a read up and see for myself what that old book says. And I'll see you again another day in a few days' time, most probably. Quite a lot done today, and I'm happy, particularly happy to get things planted out and to see that bed empty there, because that's where some tomatoes might be going at the weekend. Right, I'm going to leave it there. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. We have an issue with our greenhouse door. This one is jammed completely, can't move it at all. And if we go from the inside, you might be able to see better. Well, at least not look into the sun. You can see that that is not straight. So somehow, well, I think we can most probably see this has fallen, this end. Not quite sure how that has happened, but basically I came here yesterday and tried to open the door, this door, and it did move, but it usually moves quite easily, this one, unlike this one. But it sort of ground to a halt, and I tried to move it a bit more and it ground to a halt, and then I realised that this door was out from the runner. You can mostly see the runner there where it runs through. It's out from there, and then I noticed from the outside that this bar here wasn't straight. Came in and had a look and saw that that side had fallen somewhat. By that time this door was jammed, as I say, and yeah, so I'm just going to undo this a bit, lift it up. It looks as though maybe it needs to be there. Lift it up and see how we do. Yeah, and you can see, look, that glass is, there's a big thing of glass there. I'm not quite sure what happened, because yeah, that's come down as well. Well, why's that come down? That's not level either. Or maybe it is. No, it's not. Anyway, I'm going to try and lift this bar on the outside up, because it's connected on the other side of here. Let me do that and I'll be back to you. Well, I sort of have doors that now open and close. Apart from, you can see there's a gap down here. When there isn't a gap down here, there's a gap up here. I just don't know what happened. Very odd. And I'm not sure if this is picking up here or over there, but when I came to undo this, it sheared off. So I've got a peg here, which is just sort of, it's a bit too long actually, a little bit too long. I think I might shave some off, not shave, but use a hacksaw to just cut maybe half a centimetre off here. But at least we've got doors that do open. But this one is still not in the runner because it's a little bit too high. I'm not sure if you can see down there, most probably not, but there's a groove there that should fit over this lip here, not sit on it but fit over it so that it moves smoothly, and it sort of never has done. Yeah. Oh. You see, that's not level in there. How on earth can that have happened? That's level over there. I mean, this can't have moved. Well, I mean, it can have moved. But I don't see, you know, we've gone through not hurricane force winds, but really strong winds, and it hasn't moved. And then I just come down yesterday and it was all odd. I mean, for the moment, we'll just have to live with it. I might even get a little clip so we can clip it at the top here. I mean, I can live with that, but this door here still, oh, actually that sort of locks itself in when it's closed. But maybe I could put something against that. I mean, this is the thing with allotment tiers, isn't it? It's very often there's sort of a Heath Robinson solution. And I think there'll have to be one in this instance. But that gap there that you can see will be an issue for the winter. But look, at least now I can close it. I don't know why it's off akimbo. I pull it that way at the top and then it opens up, not surprisingly, at the bottom. Wait a minute. I think these doors are the wrong way round. They were, this is the left, this is the right hand door, this is the left hand door. Look, there's a lip here, which I would have thought overlaps this bit here to seal off the centre. Otherwise, why would there be a lip there? These doors are on the wrong way round and have been since it was put up. I'm not saying that that's the main issue here, but I can now see those doors are on the wrong way round. If I can get in here at some point, I'm not sure if you can see in there. It's really difficult to get in there and undo those bits. But maybe that would be the sensible thing to do anyway. Not today. Not today. Yeah, I mean, we moved it over lock, stock and barrel, you know, from behind me. But yeah, it's just dawned on me, why would this lip be here if this lip didn't overlap an edge? And it makes sense, then there would be no gap down here. Hey ho, hey ho. Anyway, look, we've got, we can shut it. That'll do for today, because really what I want to do is get these cucumbers in. Oh, one of these has been munched. Look, that one. Oh, bloody hell, here we go. Right, well, I'm not going to do that now, but what I am going to do now is check for slugs and snails. Yeah, because that's definitely been munched. Anyway, I'll be back down later and I'll see you then. I'm just setting out the cucumbers in the raised bed by the shed, and thought you might like to look at the root system, which is pretty good on all of them. Clearly a bit compacted down there, but yeah, they're all very decent root systems. So these are going in. That's 6 cucumbers in. I've got some spares just in case these get eaten. Being very close to the Spanish lavender, the cotton lavender, and the Taunton Dean, I wouldn't be surprised, though we did treat this bed with nematodes and the surrounding area with nematodes a week or so ago, and I've put more of those nematode pellets down around these as well to water in over the coming days. Whilst I'm just standing here and the sun's not out, look at that. That iris, just gorgeous. And this one, just utterly gorgeous. These are ones that I was gifted by a fellow plot holder just a couple away from me a few years ago, and they really are rather glorious. This was the white one that we had a few weeks ago. Yeah, lovely. The weather continues to be really dry, so there's a lot of watering going on. I'm watering most things every other day maybe, or every 3 days, and the things that have recently gone in are getting a good water every day or every other day at least. Things in benches are sitting in little puddles of water in their trays, and it looks as though we're not going to get any significant rain for about another week, when a low pressure takes over from the high pressure that we've had for quite a while now. So yeah, the watering will continue. The squash between the broad beans are doing well. I have sprayed the broad beans with a natural black fly deterrent from grazers, but maybe the fact they're on there now means they're on there. Some of the beans are developing, but I'm not hopeful of a great crop this year, despite them looking fantastic only 2 weeks ago. So there we are. And the courgettes at the moment at the front are looking really good as well. Where have I said this? I don't know. I did carry on with the bed by where the garlic was. I pulled out a whole load of forget-me-nots that was in that bed, and I pulled out what's it called, lamb's lettuce on the other side, on the other bed. So those 2 beds are they're not ready to be planted up because the garlic bed is so dry, unbelievably dry. So I've been watering it. I've been putting chicken pellets down as well, organic chicken pellets, chicken manure pellets that is, and I'm sort of moving things around again. I think beans will go in that bed, and I think tomatoes are going to go in the front bed, where on the other side of the brassicas. Yeah, I think that's where things are going to go. So I'm still chopping and changing, basically. And maybe I'll chop and change a little bit more next week too. Anyway, whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope you're getting enjoyment out of it, despite the swings and roundabouts of allotmenteering and gardening and growing. You know, when I say that, I mean, you know, the broad beans have been looking so well, so they've been on a, you know, big swing, and then we have their roundabouts where it comes around and, you know, they're not quite so good this week as they were a fortnight ago. So yeah, win some, lose some, but I'm still trying to keep on top of the plot. I've just done a weed of bindweed in the soft fruit beds and in the bed where I'm going to put tomatoes. I need to take up the cardboard that's in that tomato bed because I need to, and that can go into our compost. So next week, I think it might be quite a busy week. In fact, I might even start a few things for next week's A Week at the Plot on Sunday. Who knows? That's tomorrow because it's Saturday now. Look, I'm going to stop waffling. Any comments, any questions, any suggestions, please do leave them down below. And I will see you next week on Planet Vegetaria for further segments of A Week at the Plot as we go through. And there'll be another full upload in a week's time on YouTube. And will that be the last? No, not quite the last full week of May. We've got 2 more full weeks of May, haven't we? Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Well, almost. I think the 31st is a Saturday, so maybe not 2 full weeks. Anyway, waffling. See you very soon. Bye.